Ever get that feeling, like when you're in a crowd, but you see someone just totally zoned out, lost in their own little world?
Totally.
Well, someone sent us this little picture they called Yun on Thai, and it really got us thinking. So for this deep dive, we're going to kind of unpack it, really look closely at this scene and see what it might be trying to tell us.
It's amazing, isn't it, how even the most ordinary things can become super interesting when you really stop and think about them.
Okay, so let's start with the person, right? The main character of this little snapshot. It's a young guy on a subway train. And right away, two things kind of jump out. He's wearing a black suit, and he's all alone.
Hmm.
Now, usually, subway trains are packed.
Right.
So what do you make of that, him being all alone like that?
Well, it definitely makes you curious, right? I mean, maybe it was just a weird time of day or something, but it
Right.
also kind of sets him apart, you know? Makes you focus on him as a person, not just part of the crowd. Makes you wonder about his day, what he's been up to.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's this other detail. He's got a book open on his lap. We don't know what he's reading or anything, but just the fact that it's there. What do you think that says about him?
It's like it gives him a whole other dimension, you know? Like there's more to him than just this guy riding the train. Maybe he's trying to escape from the day, just unwind with a good book, or maybe it's something for work or school, something he's really into. Whatever it is, it makes him more interesting, don't you think?
I totally agree. Oh, and there's one more thing. Next to him, there's a brown leather briefcase.
Yeah.
And that seems like a really deliberate detail. Not just any old bag. What kind of vibe do you get from that briefcase?
Yeah, the brown leather, it's like classic professional, you know, like he's carrying something important, maybe important papers or something. It makes me think he's got a serious job, maybe been working for a while. Like it anchors him in a certain kind of world, if you know what I mean.
Definitely. Now, let's zoom out a little. Think about the setting. It's a subway train, so like you said, it's a public space, lots of people usually. But he's all alone.
Yeah.
It- how do you see those two things playing off each other?
Well, I think it makes that sense of being alone even stronger. He's surrounded by people, but he's in his own little bubble, you know, like he's taking a break from all the craziness, just having a moment to himself.
And then there's the time of day. The picture shows a golden sunset outside the window. That's such a cool image, especially against the backdrop of a subway train. What does that make you think of?
It's like the end of the day, right? And it's funny because for him, it's probably the beginning of his commute home. But that golden light, it's so peaceful. It feels like a transition, like he's leaving the stress of work behind and heading towards something more relaxing. And then you see the city skyline out there, and it just really puts you in that urban world.
Yeah, I love that. And you said that the overall mood of the picture felt peaceful. And you thought maybe it was because he was exhausted after a long day. I think a lot of people can relate to that, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's not like happy peaceful, you know? It's more like that quiet stillness you feel when you've just been working really hard and you can finally let go a little. Like that moment on the train when you can just zone out and breathe.
So let's recap. We've got this young guy in a suit, brown leather briefcase next to him, book open on his lap, all alone on a subway train with the sunset blazing outside. And the feeling is one of quiet exhaustion, a little bit of peace in what's probably a very hectic life.
Yeah, that's it perfectly. It's just a tiny glimpse into someone's everyday world. But it's amazing how much you can read into these little details, you know? It's like a whole story unfolding without any words.
And that kind of makes you wonder, right? Like, how many of these little stories do we miss every day just because we're so busy rushing around?
Hmm.
What if we slowed down a little and really looked at the people around us? Maybe we'd find all sorts of fascinating things, all these hidden stories just waiting to be discovered in the most ordinary places.
Absolutely. It's like a whole world out there just waiting for us to notice it.
Exactly.